Welcome to the Network Plus Prepcast, your dedicated audio companion for mastering every objective on the CompTIA Network Plus certification exam. This series is produced by baremetalcyber.com. Welcome to this glossary edition of the A Plus Prepcast. In this episode, we will explore essential acronyms, beginning with the letters A through D, that are commonly tested on the Network Plus certification exam. By mastering the meaning and context of each term, you will strengthen your ability to recognize and apply these concepts throughout your studies and the exam itself. AAA stands for Authentication, Authorization, and Accounting. These three processes work together to manage secure access to systems and track user activity. Authentication verifies a user's identity, authorization defines what resources that user can access, and accounting logs what actions the user performs. This trio is essential to network security and is often implemented in remote access and enterprise systems. A CL refers to an access control list, which is used to control the flow of network traffic. CLs apply rules based on criteria such as IP address, port number, or protocol type. These rules can allow or deny traffic and are often configured on routers and firewalls. CLs are key to enforcing access policies and isolating traffic between different segments of a network. AES means Advanced Encryption Standard, a symmetric encryption method widely used for securing data. It uses fixed-length keys of 128, 192, or 256 bits to encrypt information in blocks. AES is used in many technologies, including WPA2 wireless security and virtual private networks. Its strength and speed make it a global standard for data confidentiality. stands for Authentication Header, a protocol within the IP security suite. It provides integrity and origin authentication for IP packets, but does not encrypt the content itself. Ensures that data has not been altered in transit and confirms the sender's identity. It is useful when data needs to be trusted but not hidden. AP refers to an access point, a device that connects wireless clients to a wired network. It acts as a bridge between wireless communication and the local area network infrastructure. Access points can be standalone or part of a managed wireless system. They are central to enabling Wi-Fi in homes, offices, and public networks. APC stands for Angled Physical Contact, a type of fiber optic connector design. Its angled end face reduces signal reflection, which helps improve signal quality. APC connectors are typically green and used in high-performance optical links. They offer better return loss than flat or ultra-polished connectors. A PIPA means Automatic Private IP Addressing, a fallback method used when a device cannot contact a DHCP server. It assigns an IP address in the 169.254.x.x range to maintain local network communication. A PIPA is not routable beyond the local link. It is often a sign of connectivity issues during troubleshooting. ARP refers to Address Resolution Protocol, which maps IP addresses to MAC addresses on a local network. This mapping is necessary for devices to communicate within the same subnet. ARP broadcasts requests and stores the results in a temporary cache. It is essential for Layer 2 functionality and can be a target for spoofing attacks. A UP stands for Acceptable Use Policy, a document that outlines the rules for using an organization's IT resources. It defines appropriate behaviors and prohibited activities for users. UPs help protect company assets and enforce compliance standards. Users are often required to agree to them before gaining access to the network. BGP is the Border Gateway Protocol, which routes traffic between large networks known as autonomous systems. It evaluates path attributes to determine the best route for data across the internet. BGP is essential for core internet routing and supports redundancy and failover. Misconfiguration of BGP can lead to major connectivity issues globally. And BNC stands for British Naval Connector, also known as Bayonet Neil Concealment. It is a type of coaxial connector that uses a twist and lock mechanism for secure cable connections. BNC connectors were commonly used in early Ethernet networks and are still found in video transmission and legacy setups. Although largely replaced by modern cabling methods, Understanding BNC helps when working with older network hardware. BYOD refers to Bring Your Own Device, a policy that allows employees to use personal laptops, smartphones, or tablets for work purposes. While this increases flexibility and user convenience, it introduces additional security and compliance risks. Organizations that support BYOD often enforce policies for data protection, device encryption, and remote wiping. On the exam, BYOD may appear in scenarios involving access control and endpoint management. CAM means Content Addressable Memory, a type of memory used in network switches to store MAC address tables. When a frame arrives, the switch uses the CAM table to decide which port to forward the frame to, based on the destination MAC address. This process enables efficient Layer 2 switching. Understanding how switches use CAM is essential for grasping how traffic is handled within a local network. CAN stands for Campus Area Network, which connects multiple buildings in a limited geographic area such as a school, hospital, or business campus. It is larger than a local area network, but smaller than a metropolitan or wide area network. CANs typically use high-speed fiber connections between buildings and integrate both wired and wireless segments. These networks often support shared services like file servers, printers, and databases across departments. CDMA refers to Code Division Multiple Access, a wireless communication technique where multiple users share the same frequency band. Each signal is encoded with a unique identifier, allowing simultaneous transmission without interference. CDMA was widely used in early cellular networks and still appears in legacy mobile systems. While newer technologies have replaced it, the concept remains important for understanding how spectrum is shared. The CIA stands for Confidentiality, Integrity, and Availability, the three core principles of cybersecurity. Confidentiality ensures that sensitive data is only accessible to authorized users. Integrity protects data from being altered without detection, and availability ensures that systems remain accessible when needed. The CIA triad forms the foundation for designing, implementing, and evaluating security policies and technologies. CIDR means classless interdomain routing, a method used to allocate and route IP addresses more efficiently. Unlike the older class-based system, CIDR allows flexible subnetting using variable-length subnet masks. This reduces IP address waste and supports more precise route summarization. On the exam, CIDR appears in questions about subnetting and address planning. CLI refers to Command Line Interface, a method of interacting with an operating system or network device by typing text commands. Unlike graphical interfaces, CLI offers direct control and access to advanced configuration options. It is commonly used in routers, switches, and firewalls. Familiarity with CLI syntax is important for performing tasks like interface configuration and troubleshooting. The NAME stands for Canonical Name, a type of record in the domain name system that maps one domain name to another. It is used to create an alias, allowing multiple domain names to resolve to the same IP address or target. CNAME records simplify domain management and are often used in load balancing and branding. They must be used carefully, as improper configuration can lead to resolution failures. CPU is the central processing unit, which performs the basic instructions and calculations that run a computing device. It serves as the brain of the system, executing code and managing data flow. In networking devices like routers and firewalls, the CPU handles both control plane and data plane functions. Understanding how CPU performance affects throughput and latency is useful for analyzing bottlenecks. CRC refers to Cyclic Redundancy Check, an error-checking technique used to detect data corruption during transmission. It works by generating a hash value based on the data, which is then compared on the receiving end. If the values do not match, the data is considered invalid and may be retransmitted. CRC is commonly found in Ethernet frames, storage systems, and other communication protocols. CSMA/CA stands for Carrier Sense Multiple Access with Collision Avoidance, a protocol used in wireless networks. Devices first check if the medium is free before transmitting and use techniques like acknowledgements and waiting periods to prevent collisions. This differs from wired collision detection protocols due to the difficulty of sensing in wireless environments. CSMA/CA is integral to Wi-Fi standards such as IEEE 802.11. CSMA/CD refers to carrier sense multiple access with collision detection, which was commonly used in early wired Ethernet networks. Devices listen to the medium before sending data and can detect if a collision occurs during transmission. If a collision is detected, each device waits a random time before retrying. Though largely obsolete today due to the use of switches, it remains a relevant historical concept. TSU means Channel Service Unit, a device that connects digital circuits from the service provider to the customer's internal equipment. It ensures proper signal formatting and timing for communication over leased lines. A CSU is often paired with a DSU to form a complete interface. Together, these devices enable access to T1 lines and other carrier services. CVE stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures, a standardized system for identifying publicly known cybersecurity flaws. Each CVE entry includes a unique identifier, a brief description, and reference links. This allows security professionals to track vulnerabilities across different platforms and tools. On the exam, CVE may appear in contexts involving patching, vulnerability management, or threat intelligence. CWDM refers to coarse wavelength division multiplexing, a method for transmitting multiple optical signals over a single fiber by assigning them to different light wavelengths. CWDM supports fewer channels than its dense counterpart, but is more cost-effective for shorter distances. It is used in environments that require moderate bandwidth without the expense of DWDM. Understanding CWDM helps in evaluating fiber optic transport options. DaaS means Desktop as a Service, a cloud computing model where virtual desktops are hosted and managed by a service provider. Users can access their desktop environments from anywhere using thin clients or standard web browsers. DaaS reduces the need for physical desktop infrastructure and simplifies patching and deployment. It is relevant in enterprise, education, and remote work scenarios. dB stands for decibel, a logarithmic unit used to express ratios of power, voltage, or signal strength. In networking, dB measurements are common in assessing signal loss over cables and wireless links. A negative dB value typically indicates loss, while positive values may indicate amplification. Knowing how to interpret dB levels is essential when working with physical media and radio frequencies. DDoS refers to distributed denial of service, an attack where multiple systems flood a target with traffic to exhaust resources. Unlike standard denial of service attacks, DDoS uses a large network of compromised machines. The result is service disruption or complete unavailability. These attacks are a major concern for uptime and are mitigated using firewalls, rate limiting, and specialized filtering tools. DHCP is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, which automatically assigns IP addresses and other network settings to client devices. This eliminates the need for manual configuration and reduces the chance of address conflicts. DHCP servers issue time-based leases and clients periodically renew them. On the exam, DHCP is often tested in troubleshooting and network initialization scenarios. DLP stands for Data Loss Prevention, a set of strategies and technologies used to ensure that sensitive data does not leave an organization in an unauthorized way. It can involve monitoring data in motion across the network, data at rest on storage systems, or data in use on endpoints. DLP solutions can block or alert on policy violations, such as sending confidential information via email or copying it to removable drive. On the Network Plus exam, understanding DLP is important for identifying how organizations protect intellectual property, customer records, or internal communications. DNS means Domain Name System, the hierarchical system responsible for translating human-friendly domain names into numerical IP addresses. Without DNS, users would have to memorize numeric addresses for every website or network resource they wish to access. When a user types a web address, the DNS resolver queries servers to return the correct address associated with that name. DNS is central to Internet functionality and is covered on the exam in questions involving resolution failure, record types, and misconfigured zones. DOS refers to denial of service, a type of cyber attack that seeks to disrupt normal operations by overwhelming a system with excessive traffic or resource requests. A single source typically generates these attacks, using up bandwidth, CPU cycles, or memory until the target becomes unresponsive. While less sophisticated than distributed versions, DOS attacks can still cause significant service outages. The exam may reference DOS in questions related to risk mitigation, firewall configuration, or intrusion detection. DSL stands for Digital Subscriber Line, a technology that delivers high-speed internet access using standard telephone lines. It allows for simultaneous voice and data transmission by using higher frequencies for internet signals. There are various forms of DSL, including ADSL and VDSL, each with different speed capabilities and distance limitations. Understanding DSL helps in identifying broadband technologies and their physical media characteristics. DSU means Data Service Unit, which is often used in conjunction with a channel service unit to connect digital communication lines, such as T1 circuits, to local networks. The DSU converts digital signals from the telecom provider into a format the internal network equipment can understand. This function ensures signal timing and proper framing for reliable communication. On the exam, DSU may appear in contexts involving WAN connections and legacy network infrastructure. DWDM is Dense Wavelength Division Multiplexing, a fiber optic technology that enables multiple data streams to be transmitted over a single fiber using closely spaced light wavelengths. This approach dramatically increases bandwidth capacity and supports long-distance communication without needing additional fibers. DWDM is used in service provider backbones and large enterprise networks. Understanding DWDM helps differentiate it from CWDM and other fiber technologies on the exam. EAP refers to Extensible Authentication Protocol, a flexible authentication framework commonly used in wireless networks and point-to-point connections. EAP supports a variety of authentication methods, including passwords, certificates, and smart cards. It is frequently used in WPA2 enterprise networks, where strong identity validation is necessary before granting access. On the Network Plus exam, EAP may be mentioned in questions related to wireless security standards and radius configurations. EIA stands for Electronic Industries Alliance, an organization responsible for setting hardware standards used in electrical and electronic equipment. Although the group was dissolved in 2010, its legacy continues in standards like EIA/TIA 608 and RS 232, which are still referenced in cabling and serial communications. Many connectors and transmission standards used in networking equipment were originally developed under the EIA's guidance. On the exam, EIA references may appear in cabling, transmission, and physical layer contexts. EIGRP means Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol, a Cisco proprietary dynamic routing protocol used within autonomous systems. It uses a combination of metrics such as bandwidth, delay, and reliability to determine the best path for data. EIGRP offers faster convergence and less overhead compared to older protocols like RIP. While it is not an open standard, understanding EIGRP is useful for interpreting protocol characteristics and comparing it to alternatives like OSPF on the certification exam. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Network Plus Prepcast, your trusted audio guide to the CompTIA Network Plus certification. This episode was produced by baremetalcyber.com. For more cybersecurity podcasts, books, and resources, visit baremetalcyber.com. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.